What if we as a nation came to realize that the quest for empire eventually destroys all great nations?
Senator Rand Paul made headlines earlier this year for his 13-hour filibuster opposing the use of drones in America on Americans. He opposed it. But the senator, maybe he's changed his mind. Here is Rand Paul talking about drones with Neil Cavuto, taped Monday, shown last night.
If someone comes out of a liquor store with a weapon and $50 in cash, I don't care if a drone kills him or a policeman kills him.
Now, is that a reversal? Judge Andrew Napolitano is here. We've got a lot to add to this story. He's got an exclusive because you, this morning, talked to Senator Paul.
This morning, Senator Paul called me. He called me because he was concerned about the misunderstanding which generated, almost exploded overnight on the blogs and the websites. The tape that Neil did of him on Tuesday was aired sometime in the 8 o'clock hour last night. By midnight, the stuff was all over the place, and even people who are staunch supporters of his and his father's and whose values I share were concerned that he changed his mind on drones. And the answer is an unequivocal no. The filibuster was about the concept of targeted assassinations, about the president picking and choosing who to kill in the U.S. or elsewhere who had not received due process of law. They had not been charged with a crime. They had not been convicted of a crime. They just got in the president's crosshairs. That was the essence of the filibuster.
Got it.
However, yesterday when he used the clip that you just ran and said, coming out of a liquor store with a gun and $50, he probably should have said coming out of a liquor store shooting a gun and with $50, because clearly if someone is using a deadly weapon on the police or on civilians, the police can use a deadly weapon with which to repel that person, whether the weapon comes from a sidearm that the police are holding or from some high-tech means. The senator's concern has been killing without due process. He's never been against technology. Having said all that, there is a real fundamental value issue here. Do we want drones all over the place? Because some of them are going to be the size of mosquitoes. My view is you need a warrant for that, because without a warrant, the police will use drones to look at you in your bedroom or your hot tub. And without a warrant, because it's easier for them to do so, to gather information about you.
Wasn't there, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but wasn't there a question about whether or not you needed a warrant if you're flying in a helicopter and you're looking for marijuana? You're looking into private property, checking for marijuana growth.
The answer to that is a little subtle. For marijuana, yes, you do need a warrant. If you are the government and you're looking for marijuana on the Varney estates, just using this hypothetically, the government would need a search warrant before it could do it. But if on the Varney estates was a business that the government regularly regulated, it would not need a search warrant in order to observe that business.
Okay, now wait a second. We're not talking, when we're talking about a guy coming out of a liquor store shooting a gun, he's got $50 in his hand. He's droned. That's different. You don't need a search warrant. What you need is some kind of authority to shoot him with the drone.
Well, if he's shooting at the police, you don't need any additional authority. If he's shooting at you and you have a weapon, you can shoot back. If he's shooting at a cop, the cop can shoot back. The question is, do we want society filled with flying pieces of plastic that can watch us and that can kill? That's a value judgment.
And it's going to happen.
It will only happen if the government permits it, because right now these things are not licensable in the United States.
I think the argument over gun control should be expanded to drone control. Because, you know, we're not far off the day when I could buy a drone, arm it, and shoot somebody.
Correct. Here's the issue. If the government derives its power from the consent of the governed, not from a monarch, but from the consent of the governed, and if the governed do not have the authority to own drones, then how can the government have the authority to own drones? Stated differently, private individuals are going to have drones to shoot down the government drones in their backyards. Do we really want a society in which that happens? That's why I would argue one step beyond the senator and say we need more than just a consensus on drones. We need a judicial authorization that the Constitution permits the government in your face with a piece of plastic. In my view, it doesn't.
We've run over time, but Judge, it was good. Thank you very much indeed, sir.